One of my subscribers, shout out to Nunya for sending me this story, and when I got the story, I recognized the picture of the kid because I had saw it floating around a little bit, not as much as it should be, and you'll find out why it should be floating around a little bit more, but you won't be surprised why it isn't. This kid's name is Elijah Precisely, and he is 11 years old, and he, according to this, said he academically signed with Southern University to become a full-time student on a full-ride scholarship next spring. Now, if that doesn't amaze you enough, let me just go ahead and read this article because it's actually more to it than just him getting a full-ride scholarship at this school at the age of 11. It says, when Elijah Precisely enrolls in the Honors College at Southern University next year, he will have already published a book and submitted 5 patents for his inventions. 5 patents for his inventions. Let me say that again. 5 patents for his inventions. That's inventions with an S as in more than one. All at the age of 11. When he graduates, he will just be learning how to drive. The homeschooled 11-year-old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, has always shown an extraordinary amount of curiosity and sharp ability to learn, asking his mother about all the bones in the human body and how taxes worked by the time he was 3 years old. By the time he was 5, Elijah preached his first sermon and was a guest on the WTQT 106.1 FM radio station, where he now has his own weekly show. I'm just amazed just reading every word so far that's coming out about this kid. He started taking classes at Southern University when he was 8 years old. I wasn't looking, hey, I want to come up here to Southern University. I didn't even know that I was going to get into a college, Elijah said Friday. I was just being myself. Elijah, placing a Southern University cap on his head, sliding a Columbia blue and gold Letterman jacket over his collar shirt and bow tie, signed a letter accepting the academic scholarship with the university Friday morning in front of the university's board of supervisors and his family. He swiftly stepped up to the microphone, pulled out his notes in a leather folder and lowered the microphone before launching into a speech, thanking everyone who helped him make it there. Elijah listed them all by name, from his parents and sisters to the teachers who suggested moving him up a level at Trinity Children's Academy when he was just 18 months old. Elijah expounded on how grateful he was by discussing the concept of legacies, acknowledging that not only that he is a legacy of his parents and teachers, but also a Southern University first president for whom his scholarship is named. When I reflect on the Joseph S. Clark Presidential Scholars Award, it means absolute legacy, nothing but legacy to me. Those that have paved the way, I want to thank you for paving the way in my education, and I will absolutely pave the way for others to do the impossible. I am elated. Elijah started building his own inventions at home at a young age before his mother, Pamela Precisely, a Southern University alumni, reached out to Dr. Diola Bagayako, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, who was in the university's physics department, about finding Elijah some lab space on the campus. Bagayako encouraged Elijah to join his classes. Elijah went to take biology, physics, and business classes at Southern University. I appreciate that the staff never turned him away with his questions. Sometimes he would want to teach the class, and that's okay because they understood that that's the highest form of testing, and Elijah has done research on that. He plans to study physics and mechanical engineering through the Honors College on a full-ride scholarship that starts in the spring. Due to the time that he has already spent in the classroom at the university, Elijah will begin as a sophomore and plans to spend 4 years at the university to finish a 5-year program. We are pleased to offer Elijah Precisely the J.S. Clark Presidential Scholar Award, Southern University President Ray Belton said Friday when introducing Elijah to the board. As a J.S. Clark Scholar, he will engage in research and other scholarly activities as part of the Honors College. Pamela Precisely and Stephen Precisely, Elijah's father, said they've always cultivated Elijah's curiosity and didn't hesitate to bring in other people like Bagayako when Elijah's technical vernacular, as Elijah called it, went over their heads. Find that child's genius, what they like, and nurture that even if you have to seek outside help. That's when you do what you do, and that's what he did, Stephen Precisely said, advising other parents to do the same. Outside of the classroom, Elijah spent time with his best friend, 10-year-old Reginald Ellis II, who will start at Southern University Lab School in the fall. It just seems like he's just around a lot of geniuses, but that's okay. The pair met at a homeschool co-op when they were toddlers. Now, here it is. His friend was also homeschooled. Now, look at this here. He was homeschooled, his friend was homeschooled, and they're both below what you would say the average age for a college student, which is 18 and up, or which, you know, the typical age. And they're getting into honors colleges, and they were homeschooled. Hint, hint, is all I have to say. They conduct experiments grinding down blue lilies from Precisely's backyard to make ink. My goodness. Did y'all hear that? Grinding down blue lilies in the yard to make ink. The pair constantly scheme over business plans, whether it's owning a basketball team or making a deal for Reginald's lemonade stand. Elijah makes fruit ice cubes that he sells to his friends. Reginald carried copies of Elijah's book, Mission Christian Guys Got First, on Friday and quickly handed Elijah a copy as if on cue when Elijah mentioned the book during an interview with multiple journalists. Elijah turned to a page and read from it, explaining how passages in the book contain life lessons. It teaches children that they are loved and also that they can do great exploits and great things, because if a person doesn't know that, they'll never be successful. If they're never told they can be successful, they will never be, because that's never been put in them. Elijah, who calls himself a lifelong learner, jokes about how the scholarship is an answer to his prayers because he was already worried about the college debt. In the pocket of his suit jacket, he keeps a stack of business cards that identify him as an author, entrepreneur, and inventor, before including a quote from Albert Einstein. "Theory without practice is lame. Practice without theory is blind," the quote says. When asked what it feels like to be the mother of a prodigy, Pamela Precisely shared an analogy that the family has come to use. When you're in the kitchen cooking, you don't always smell the strength of the aroma. However, when other people come in and they smell it, they say, "What are you cooking? We're just used to it." Wow. Wow is all I have to say. Like, I literally don't have any words. I am loving these feel-good stories like these. Like, I'm glad when I get stories in general because I love talking about them, but I really love when I get stories such as these because I know that mainstream media will not talk about it because of who they are. Now, these are the kind of kids that, or stories that need to be pushed out more. If we had our own equivalent of a CNN, which would not be ran like the CNN that we've come to know and loathe, then more of these stories could be pushed out there and get way more exposure than what they get now, you know, or being reduced to just being on the internet. Not that that is a bad thing. Thank God for the internet, but just imagine if this was about 20 years ago. We would probably never know about this unless it was on a local level. And even then, sometimes on a local level, you still wouldn't know about it. Hell, people learn about stories from me first about stuff that happens in their local community because it's not put out there because mainstream media refuses to talk about it. Unless they can get something negative out of it for their purpose of what they deem ratings, especially when it comes to black people, they're not going to really talk about it. They'll talk about it here and there, but it'll be a little blurb on the radar and then it'll go away as fast as it came. So, excuse me, with that being said, shout out to this young man right here. He has a very, very bright future ahead of him. Just by reading this alone, like I want to like hang off of his damn coattail and just find out what else he has planned and in store, because it sounds like he just has it. This is a kid who has his life plan already out, just laid out for him. He probably already knows where he wants to be by the time he's probably 20 years of age. My guess is, just by his plan and what he's going on right now, he's never going to work for anybody. He doesn't have an employee mindset. He has a strict entrepreneur, creative mindset. And that's what more of our youth need to have today. He saw what he said. He wants to own a basketball team. And I already know he's going to have to compete for it because of how these colonizers act, especially when it comes to the NFL. But I'm sure that, you know, anything is possible. As long as he has a strong foundation, and it sounds like he does with both of his parents, and notice I said both of his parents, then he's going to be good. And the fact that he was homeschooled definitely plays a huge part, because he's already ahead of the curve from the people that's getting this lame public school education. Hell, he's beating people on a private school level, to be quite honest. Just something to take into consideration. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.